On our latest episode, Josh Pederson and I are pondering the future of movie art form as the fight over creative control between studio and director gets even more heated. Will the will the original Xbox backwards compatibility be something gamers care about? And what titles do we actually want? And with the Secret Empire becoming even more expansive, even if Captain America gets redemption, will he be ever truly embraced by the fans again? Josh shares his thoughts on the winners and losers. Josh shares his thoughts on the winners and losers of the NHL draft, and we also ask if Baby Driver can end up being the surprise hit of the movie year. Plus, we also have a clip from the latest Topicocalypse and another hit song from Plasma Z. It's another pop culture battle royale of podcasting greatness we have for you today as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. And I'm here along with my good friend, the host with the most, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanica Media, and also as well, the CEO. Okay, and also as well, the fantastical writer for the upcoming novel, Congratulations, You Suck. It's Josh Pederson. How are you, my friend?
Good, man. Apparently today is the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And if you go on Facebook and you put in the names of the houses from Harry Potter and you click on them, your screen erupts into a bunch of magic. And I'm clicking on things and it is mesmerizing.
I guess so, apparently. Then again, you could just watch Freeform all day long because it is the home of Harry Potter, and that's the only thing that they play on the channel.
This is true, but hey, you gotta give it props to J.K. Rowling because she really did create something that just, it lasted. This is gonna be Harry Potter is gonna be like a younger generation's Star Wars.
I think you're right. In many ways, a lot of people do connect with the Harry Potter theme and the Harry Potter stories. And it is something that is going to last more than just this generation, but beyond. I can see this going on for at least past the century. So definitely people will be able to connect to this story indeed, and just the magical world of the whole Harry Potter universe. So congratulations on that anniversary as well. But I want to know what's going on with the wonderful world of Humanica Media.
It's just business as usual. We've kind of fell behind schedule with What About This. We are, some big news coming on that. There's a little something we have in the works. But this week we do have plans to record an episode. We're supposed to do it this weekend, didn't quite work out. And then the Super BS is returning we have a sit-in for Eric, who is actually doing better.
Oh, that's great news. That's great news indeed. We truly that's probably the best news I will hear all day. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. So they don't know how long he's going to be in the hospital, but he's alive. He's got all of his limbs. Things are about as good as they can be.
He is aware of his surroundings.
No, they have him under right now. I think they're gonna wake him up next Monday or Tuesday.
Fair enough indeed. Well, our thoughts again from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source and Humanica Media go out to Eric for everything that he's gone through and continued hopeful success for great and improving health indeed. So, still Topicocalypse will be played in this hour. I was on a roll with saying that name of yours as far as that podcast is concerned, but the roll just ended right there. So
it was close. It
was close. But Topicocalypse will actually be on later this hour. as far as the clip from it. And then What About This hopefully will be out and about in the wild sometime this week as well. So a lot of great things from Humanica Media coming up, including this summer. Congratulations, You Suck. Is that correct?
Correct. It's probably going to be August. That's what I'm shooting for. So yeah, you can check out a trailer for it now on YouTube and Facebook and all that jazz.
That's what I wanted to say, because if anybody out there has not caught wind of this great trailer previewing his outstanding upcoming book, Congratulations, You Suck, you got to see it, because it is hilarious indeed.
Yes, please check it out. You can check it out on Humanica Media's Facebook and on Humanica Media YouTube. I'm planning on making a couple more trailers before the drop day gets here, so just stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed for that, and there's going to be a lot of other great things coming down the pike from Humanica Media, also as well Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and hopefully as well one of our returning favorites, Inside Sports, as well. Closing door. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows out there, we truly appreciate, again, you listening to the #1 show 4 months in a row on the Podcast Radio Network. We are here every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Podcast Radio Network. And also as well our Friday show, the PCC Multiverse, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, also on the Podcast Radio Network. If you haven't got a chance to see us yet, if for some reason you miss our show, hey, it's no problem. Check us out on the download on any one of numerous options that are available out there, including iTunes, TuneIn, Ace Podcast Network, Overcast.fm, Google Play, the Gunna Geek Network, Stitcher Radio, Podcast.com, Mixcloud, the ESO Network, and the Tangibound Network as well. And I've got another one as well that I'm going to bring up here. I'm going to look it up. There's another way that you can get our awesome show. I just saw it the other day, so I'm going to shout that out later in the program as well. So we got a great show lined up for you today, including talk, like I said, of Josh's thoughts on the NHL draft, plus also as well why we think Baby Driver could be the big surprise hit of the movie year. But first, I want to ask you, Josh, are you familiar with the latest news in Hollywood in regards to, what we talked about previously with, what's going on with Han Solo, but a bigger problem in regards to creative control in Hollywood between the directors and also the products that they end up making, and who has the final say, and more importantly, who has the final cut?
Yeah, I know we talked about this the other day. It's I don't know. Like I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't like the idea of studios having final cut. I like directors having final cut, because studios, they kind of like the DC film universe kind of proved that they kind of suck the soul out of everything. Like they want to make money. They want explosions. They want they want people. Big fight scenes out, these big elaborate set pieces, but the motivations are different. Say you have your director, and the director it's a passion project for him. He wants to, it's his art. It's how he communicates his art, his thoughts, his stories. Then you have the studios who just want, this is going to make money. This is going to make money. It's so formulaic, and because of that, there is really a lack of originality. And I think that's a lot of the stuff that's plagued movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and Batman vs. Superman and all these big budget flicks. And it's tough. I know Warner Brothers still gives Chris Nolan final cut privileges, but it's I don't know. There's not a lot of heart in movies where if you give the studios too much control over it, it's not going to come out the way that we hope or want it to.
Well, I also
what are
wanted
your
to
thoughts
ask,
on it?
Well, I know you heard the news about the recent takeover as CEO of Warner Brothers, Tony Emmerich, who's best known for his time with the New Line company and all the films that they created there. He is really behind I guess, the movement for the studio having the final cut, as far as on not just one or two selected films, but across the board, so that it creates quite an issue for directors who have long been established in the industry and also have had their way with Final Cut. As an auteur or as an artist, I think there is some issue with not getting that final cut, not getting that final say on how they want their product to come out. I mean, I haven't been part of the movie industry in quite some time, but all I can tell you, I can tell you that my days in there, it was very demanding that what the producers and directors and what the basic artists want out of their product and want as far as where the direction would go, whether it was good or bad, at least they had the say on where it was going. And it seems like with the studios are heading away from that direction. At least Warner Brothers in the future, especially with the DC universe, might be heading in that direction where the studio has more and more control of the actual product. Now, mind you, they're putting up a lot of the funding that's involved. So if you're putting up 150, 200 million, 300 million with production and also advertising and marketing costs, it's hard to say, well, they should have control because they're putting up the money for it. But when they sign these directors, they need to have faith that the director is going to put out a product that people and audiences are going to end up really being in love with. I don't think any studio could have reshaped two of the worst movies that I picked last year, Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad, and made it much better than the trash that it was, in my opinion only, although many others share that opinion as well. So that's just, I don't think they could have saved films from being that bad, but just still the director not having the freedom to go ahead and having that final say is quite troubling to me as well. But to a lot of younger directors, or maybe directors that want that big break to work on that blockbuster, maybe they're not going to be so divisive against it. Maybe they're going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I'll just take the job for now and I'll take the cash along with it. And then maybe I can go ahead and maybe have my final say on another project of mine later down the road.
Right, but we've already passed that point where writers are getting credit for the work. Writers, it used to be like a film written by so-and-so, the creator of whatever that other movie was, and we don't do that anymore. So then we reached a point where directors started getting all the credit. But now, if you notice, when they advertise films, the directors no longer some of the directors do get credit for their big names like Spielberg, Chris Nolan, David Fincher, whatever. But it's like, if you have nowadays, it's from the producers of this movie, the producers of that movie. So it's like we're already reaching a point where the directors are having less and less control. And like you said, like if the younger directors get out there and they want the money, that's already taken the heart out of it.
Let me ask you this. I mean, let's say Ghost Toasters is a nice indie. Okay, let's try that again. Let's say Ghost Toasters is the indie hit of the universe and really just packs them in as far as gets those YouTube numbers going and spiraling in the tens and hundreds of millions, which I hope it does, by the way. But anyways, and let's say Warner Brothers comes to you and say, hey, I want you to go to direct the next Cyborg, Aquaman, or Flash movie coming up. What are you going to say? But if they say, okay, but we want final cut privileges. So what are you going to say? Are you going to take up that challenge? And even though you will not have the final say on how the picture will ultimately end up being?
Yeah, see, that's tough. I mean, because you want to get your name out there, and well, you have to look at it this way: how much with a film like that, how much control are you actually going to be getting? You're going to direct it, but are you actually directing it? And that's kind of, I guess, the question that you have to ask yourself. Is it going to be, are you going to have like helicopter producers over your shoulder, or is it going to be something that you actually get to put your voice into? And while we all love to watch superhero movies, as someone who directs things, like, I don't think I would want to, if I didn't get to put my own personality into a film, I wouldn't want anything to do with it. Like, I guess I understand where Marvel is coming from, because everything is so tightly knit together, and DC has yet to do that successfully. But you have the Edgar Wright situation, where he likes to put his own spin on it, and most recently the Star Wars, the Star Wars directors being taken away from.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to elaborate even further, is because as we explained on last week's PCC Multiverse, the directors who are known from the Lego Movie, they were removed, or they decided to break up as far as with Lucasfilm over creative differences. And I think if with Disney and Lucasfilm, I think where it comes down to is maybe they didn't like the way and direction it was going, and they wanted to have the final say on where it was going, and maybe the interpretation between director and studio, or in this case directors and studio, was that direction was getting far and far apart.
Right. So it's just, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know where I stand on this issue. I don't like the idea of, I think this is why Kevin Smith kind of, like, when he left the Weinsteins, he kind of went off and did his own thing. But that's an example where it didn't always work out. But I do commend him for saying, hey, this is my movie, and I'm going to make it the way that I want to. So he has that freedom to do that.
But has he achieved any level of success in recent times, as far as his movies are concerned?
I don't know about his movies. They've become cult hits. I mean, if he got Johnny Depp to be in something, he must. I mean, actually, that's probably a bad example. Yeah, but yeah, no, he's directed episodes of The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow. I mean, he's doing something right. And
well, I mean, not far as that realm. I'm talking about his movies as of late, since he decided to leave the Weinsteins.
See, the problem is the Weinsteins, they own a lot of those big properties. Like, that's why we haven't seen Clerks 3 or Mallrats or anything, or Mallrats 2, whatever those movies are supposed to come out. We don't see him. We don't see more Jay and Silent. I know he's working on a Jay and Silent Bob movie, but that's because he actually owns those characters. So it's tough. See, if you were to start out making, it's like, say Ghost Toasters was picked up by Warner Brothers, and then I ended up leaving Warner Brothers, even though I had a contract with them, I wouldn't be able to make any more Ghost Toasters. So it's all about control. It's control and
Warner Brothers. I think that's Warner Brothers right outside your door.
Yeah, here they are. Here they come. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it sucks all. Basically, if we round out the topic, it sucks all of the art out of it, and that's why I think original blockbusters are, we need those.
What are your thoughts out there, everyone, on well, I guess it's happened in Hollywood for many years, but it seems to be even a more clarifying issue now that the budgets for some of these blockbusters are going through the roof, and the creative control and the battle for creative control seems to be getting even more towards the forefront as far as the industry concerned, and also as well to these projects that some of them, which you and I as a fan of the movies really have come to love or want to go ahead and really excited for, like for instance the Han Solo movie. What are your thoughts on this battle going on in Hollywood? Share us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Humanican Media, Game Source, Humanican Media at Game Source, and Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook and Twitter as well. Well, when we come back, we're going to have a little bit more on the Xbox backwards compatibility issue as far as original Xbox is being now put back front and center in the world of gaming, and we're going to share our thoughts whether or not that might be a good thing or a thing we don't really care about. And we're going to share our thoughts on that here in a minute. But first, we got a great song from Plasma Z. This is Level Up, and this is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. If for some reason you just can't get a hold of Podcast Radio Network at the time that you want to catch our shows, that's no problem. You can always download our shows at any point in time, the PCC Multiverse and the Pop Culture Cosmos on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, and you can do that on a numerous array of broadcasting, downloading, and also streaming channels, including Player.fm. That's right, Player.fm, which I just discovered last week, has been playing and has had made available to everyone out there the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. And that also includes iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Mixcloud, podcast.com, the ESO network, the Tangent network, the Gonna Geek network, Ace Podcast Network, so many out there, overcast.fm, so many out there that we truly appreciate, we being part of all those different ways that you can get it. And if you do download our shows or stream our shows in any form or fashion on any one of those networks I just named, we've tried very hard to add an additional podcast or additional clips, extended clips from one of the shows from Humanity Media, Rob McKenna Films, Game Source, could be Wine, Women, and Words, could be any numerous array of shows that we add on each and every show. So we truly appreciate you listening, and we throw a bonus in there for you if you decide to download or stream the show. Well, I wanted to ask you, Josh, we were down there at E3 for all the happenings and whatnot and all the great stuff that's going on for gamers. But did you get that little announcement that Microsoft made during its press conference in regards to original Xbox now being, well, in the near future, now becoming part of its Xbox One backwards compatibility program?
Yeah, I heard about it. While I'm looking forward to playing a lot of these games that I haven't been able to play in a long time, it's weird that they haven't had like the Xbox One. I get because I know you've been able to purchase some of these games digitally, but how many people are? I'm kind of on the fence about this. I like having the option of backwards compatibility, but I don't know how often I'm going to be like, oh hey, I want to go back and play this game.
And that's the thing that Sony PlayStation has said continuously in regards to being asked if they were going to develop something similar to what Xbox is doing, and they said, well, it's something that a lot of people ask about, but ultimately don't end up really using a lot of. And Xbox has tried to say otherwise with its Xbox One to Xbox 360 backwards compatibility program. I don't know. I like having that feature myself, and I actually have purchased a couple titles since they become available on the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility program. So, and I'm looking forward to even grabbing a couple of original Xbox titles as well. So, but is it something that a lot of gamers really want to use? I don't know. You're going to have to, enlighten me to see if it's something that you as a younger gamer are really interested as well.
It's all hype. Yes, people are interested in going back and playing some of the titles that they have, but I mean, a lot of them, if they haven't been remastered, you can purchase them digitally already. Anyways, I guess people just want the option of going and putting their old discs inside their Xbox. But I have Halo and Halo 2, but those are the only original Xbox games that I still own. So the rest of them are 360 or I purchased digitally. So I don't know how much utilization I'll get out of it. But
what are some of the titles that you would be interested in rebuying? Because it's their Xbox whether you go get it at a place like Retro City Games, GameStop, eBay, what have you, they're relatively inexpensive to get. And so what are some of the titles you may be interested in revisiting that would be, if it should become available on the original Xbox compatibility program?
See, that's the thing. There's not a lot I really would be interested in going back and playing. I would like Armed and Dangerous and Project Gotham Racing. I think the original was on Xbox One. And that was pretty fun. But other than that, there's not a lot that I would go that I'm so into that I'd go back and play it again. There's a lot of Xbox 360 games that I enjoy playing, but to me, it's just like I said, the gamers like to have the option of doing it, but they don't actually know how. Like, it's like we were talking about with the Sega on the cell phones, like the Sega games. It's like it's nice to have those games, but how often are we actually going to sit there and play them?
Exactly, like we were talking about last week on a PCC Multiverse. You can check out that conversation there. But I couldn't agree with you more on that, because it's going to be something that I would like. I would like to buy 13 again, Roman numeral XIII. 13, that was to me a great experience. I remember fondly on the original Xbox. Also as well, I'd love to try out KOTOR. I know it's available on certain mobile devices, but I don't want to play a game like KOTOR on my mobile device. I want to actually play it back on a console. So definitely thinking about getting that if it should become available, and then some other titles as well that take me back to that era that I really looked forward to playing and whatnot. Because I remember that beast. I used to have I used to have 2 different Xboxes, and it was really kind of fun. While I spent the time, but you're right. Like you, I played a lot of Halo on the original Xbox, and that's what happens when one series of games is so well known and so well attached to a certain console. Okay, well, I played Halo and I didn't play a lot else at times, so do I really need it? Like you said, you have Halo and you have Halo 2. I still have, same thing right there, but I also have the Halo, the Master Chief Collection. So if Halo, the Master Chief Collection, so that's definitely something I could be not very interested, because I already have, like I said, the remastered copies. So there's a few selected titles which will definitely interest me should they pop up, that I will go ahead and get, but it's going to be a selected few indeed. Tell us your thoughts on if you're interested at all in the Xbox backwards compatibility program for the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and the new Xbox One X. Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, and also let us know what titles that you're interested in, hoping they'll bring back alive to the Xbox backwards compatibility program. And also you can DM us those thoughts as well on Humanican Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Twitter as well. When we come back, we're going to play a little clip from this man right here, Josh Pederson's awesome show, Taco
Apocalypse.
Taco Apocalypse. No, that's only on that's only if they're running a taco special. Topicocalypse, and that's coming up right after the break, right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos show. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today, and thanks so much for being, here, and then also on our Friday show, the PCC Multiverse as well. Josh, I know you've been keeping an eye, kind of, being our comic book expert on what's going on with the Captain America Hydra saga known as the Secret Empire. Now that's kind of maturing into even more realms. Then I know you've also heard and seen the announcement of the new Marvel Legacy program, as far as that's concerned as well, with a lot of being revisited, almost like what DC did last year with its Rebirth program. So I ask you, Josh, tell me your thoughts. Do you think the DC, excuse me, do you think the Marvel Legacy program is going to really work out as far as people getting back interested in comic books again? And do you think that if the Secret Empire is going the way it's going, and supposedly Captain America might be getting redemption, will he be truly embraced by comic book fans again?
Sorry, which question do you want me to answer first? Because I know Legacy is kind of.
I have a tendency to hit you with a lot of them, so I'll start first with this one. I know you got wind of the Marvel Legacy program as far as it being returning with a whole new reboot of a lot of major series and whatnot. So, what are your thoughts on that program coming back? Is it just a copy of what DC's doing with Rebirth?
Yeah, in a way, but they're not just like going back to the beginning, they're going like way back to the beginning. So they want to go back and explore like a lot of these origin stories again. But to me, I'm getting burnt out on this whole like relaunch thing. I think that Marvel needs to just, if they're going to do something like this, they need to create something new. Like, don't go and explore origins we already know. Give us some new villains, give us some new stories. Like, if you're going to relaunch these heroes, relaunch them with new tales. Don't keep telling us the same thing over and over again, because though it makes it easier to follow, because Marvel's numbers are just a complete cluster. Like, it's such a mess right now. And if you want to get fans on board, like, bring something new to the table. Give new fans and old fans something to look forward to. It's kind of like how I'm talking about with Spider-Man. Like, we keep having, even Miles Morales is fighting Peter Parker's old villain. It's such a headache, and it's so hard to follow because you have one Spider-Man series and another, because it's not going to just stick with Legacy. I guarantee you it's going to branch out into all kinds of things. They still have the original numbers running, and there's far too much, because I was really into the Ultimate Marvel timeline and they ended it. So I feel like I can't trust Marvel anymore. I don't know, as far as comic book goes, I still read them, but I don't follow them intently, just because I don't want to get into something that's going to end, in the future.
And I know you expressed and voiced your disdain for the Secret Empire saga that's going on right now, that's being, whether it's not closing out or expanding even further to something else, which I think it's going to be leading into. And it's up in the air whether or not Captain America is going to be actually redeemed 100% in the storyline or even in the fans' eyes. So I'm going to ask you, Josh, point blank, do you think it's something that Captain America can actually be redeemed once again in the eyes of the fans, or is this something that really just long term has done so much damage from this Secret Empire storyline that Captain America may actually be something that you can never bank on, or that Marvel can never bank on being a really popular series ever again?
Well, Captain America has always been one of those more stagnant series. His villains aren't as, I guess, mystical or outrageous, or even as exciting as a lot of them. You have like the Red Skull, and there's a few others. You have the Sleeper, and he's never really had villains that were that exciting. And Captain America as a hero is just not. He's not that exciting. Like, he's fun to watch in the Avengers, and the Winter Soldier is a fantastic movie, but it's just you don't get a lot of the spectacle that you get from other comic books. And I think as far as, I haven't checked in on it for a while, but last I heard, it was the Ultimate Steve Rogers showed up in these comic books somewhere, or that was the theory. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's a Steve Rogers, older Steve Rogers in another universe, or something happened where it was split up, I guess. And there's an older Steve Rogers that is still good, that is coming into play as far as concerned towards the Secret Empire. And hopefully with the ultimate battle between Steve Rogers coming into fray. But this series has left a bad taste in a lot of comic book fans' mouths, and I don't know what to say as far as that. You being a harder edge, a harder core comic book fan, I mean, this is something that you voiced your opinion against way back when, and I don't know.
It's lazy. It's lazy to me. It's like, I look at these universes clashing together. I look at it the same way I view time travel in comic books. It's lazy storytelling. Like, we don't, you just say, hey, there's a time loop, that's what explains this, or hey, this universe was drifting into this one, and then all the Thors started fighting each other. Like, I did not like that. That was not my, it just felt really lazy and forced me.
Or
like
the cosmic cube being something that's totally going to change the history for Hydra and whatnot.
Yeah, it's really lazy, because they want a story, they want a big event, they want a spectacle, so they just kind of, it's, to me, it's like the Kingdom Hearts, the video games. They think that the writers think that they can fix anything with a line of dialogue, and people are like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense to me. So it's one of those things where Marvel has so many properties open, so many things going on, that they don't know what to do with them, and that's what brought the Ultimate Universe to an end. That and bad sales, but they have all this stuff happening, and they don't know what to do with them. So that's a problem in itself, and that's what I'm worried about with Legacy, also continuing that tradition.
Well, definitely, I can't agree with you more on that, because I know that I stopped reading The Secret Empire after #2, because I just thought this was not going in the direction I really wanted it to go, and was kind of disappointed to see that it was more of a statement around our political times that we have now than more than I wanted to, when I wanted to read a comic book to escape from really what's going on in our current news and political environment today. So it really seemed to mirror it too much for my taste. So that's why I bailed out really early in the program. But I don't know. I just think it's going to take a while for people to warm up to Captain America again in the comic book scene. And I sure hope to all that is intelligent and holy out there that they will not do this same thing for the movie universe, because if they make Captain Steve Rogers and Captain America bad or part of Hydra, I just think that's really would be a lame move indeed. So it's just something I'm hoping will not happen, and I'm hoping it will be alleviated. But I don't see fans warming up to Captain America anytime soon as far as the comic books are concerned. What are your thoughts on both the Marvel Legacy program and also as well the Secret Empire and where it's headed to? And do you think Captain America will get true redemption in your eyes? Tell us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, plus also as well Humanica Media, Game Source, and Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook and Twitter as well. And now we have a clip from the latest Topicocalypse, and now we have a great clip from the latest Topicocalypse. That's Topicocalypse, available today on all Humanica Media outlets. Available today on all Humanica Media outlets. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. I'm here along with my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanica Media. It's Josh Pederson. Just want to make sure everybody knows we've got a Friday show, the PCC Multiverse, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network, plus also over a dozen streaming and downloadable options. And if you do decide to download it or stream it on any one of those options, we try to throw in a bonus podcast just for listening. Well, Josh, I know the NHL draft just finished the other day, and thought we'd enlighten fans that are hockey fans out there on what's going on in the hockey world. So, Josh, you were able to get wind of some of the stuff that was going on in the NHL draft, plus also as well the expansion draft with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I happened to stop by there the other day during it, so there was some quite interesting stuff going on there indeed. But tell us your thoughts on the NHL draft, some of the winners and losers, and what you think was really going down in the NHL draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of these guys that got picked up, they're going to end up playing in the minors for a bit. So it's not, it's hard to really tell. According to the statistics, the Vegas Knight they did well. They got a pretty solid team. I know as far as like who they were taking from other people, it could have been a lot worse.
Well, that's what happens when it comes to expansion drafts in a lot of major sports. I'm more familiar with the NBA expansion drafts from the past, and I know that they what those teams usually got wasn't really quality in return. But the idea that the NHL tries to bring in this case, from what I was observing, was they truly want the Las Vegas Golden Knights, I don't want to say be competitive right off the bat, but to not be a joke or not to try and get a record of losses right out of the gate, correct?
Yeah, correct. And they're going to do okay. I'm pretty sure because they got a pretty solid. I'm looking at their roster right now. I mean,
And plus, they also made some trades for some future draft picks, which I thought was really smart as far as building for the future, because they know they're not going to win really right away. That they do need to build a solid foundation for the future going forward.
Yeah, right. And like I said, I mean, they've got. I'm looking at their players right now. They got a pretty solid lineup, but it's like the players that a lot of the teams like the Detroit Red Wings put up for trade, and even the LA Kings, like that confuses me, because it's the thing is,
well,
like,
some of it was based off of age and salaries, correct?
Yeah, correct. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of the salary cap stuff, but it's like the problem with expansion drafts is this: it's the fact that they put all these players up, and the ones that they decide to keep, and then the ones that they put up for sale, if you will, and that don't get picked for these teams, they end up going back and playing for the teams they're already on if they don't get traded to another team. But they operate under this mentality where they're like, oh, hey, the ownership or coaches, they don't like us. Especially you have the case with the LA Kings, is that there's a completely new ownership, and a lot of these players are going to feel underappreciated. For example, you have Kyle Clifford, who is kind of like George Peros. Like once he's traded, if he's ever traded from the LA Kings, or he's probably that's gonna be the end of his career. Like he's gonna probably retire soon after. It's just one of those stories where you underappreciate a player and they're not going to perform as well for you. So I know, like, the Kings kept Jake Muzzin and Jeff Carter. Like, of course they do that, but I'm curious to see a lot of, like, what the aftermath of this draft. So it's going to be, and I feel like they're probably going to add one more team just to even things out, if not sometime in the next 4 or 5 seasons, maybe. But the Red Wings are falling apart. A lot of the teams, like the Rangers, a lot of the teams that were on top of the standings all these years ago are slowly just, having their statistics avalanche. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Well, I noticed, after doing a lot of research and taking a look at what's going on as far as the draft is concerned, I know one of the teams that surprised me as far as doing very well was a team that was just in the NHL finals and the Stanley Cup finals. That was the Nashville Predators. And I'll tell you what, the city's already gone gaga over the Nashville Predators after the way they did, and just so exciting to see their enthusiasm in regards to the team. But they made some real nice choices and draft picks that will help build for their future going forward. So is that a case of the rich getting richer and making those picks, even though they don't have the upfront picks that maybe a team with a lesser record might have?
Sorry. Think about it this way. So the Predators, they're at the cusp of victory. So their team is fine how it is. So I don't see any need for them to sacrifice draft picks or whatever they need to do, but a lot of their players are locked in for the main time. So there's not really any need to play the trade game or whatever you want to call it. It's just their team is pretty solid right now. And if this team that they have this past season was able to get as far as they were, then who knows where they'll be next season. They're a young team and they've got plenty of skill. There's a lot of years left on their core team has a lot. Their contracts are locked in for a couple more seasons at least, and they don't really need to get rid of a lot of players. I think they're doing okay.
Well, that's some great opinions and great insight and analysis indeed from Josh. If you have your thoughts on the NHL draft and also the expansion draft and what the outlook is like for either yours or maybe even another favorite of yours NHL team, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanican Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. And you'll be hearing more stuff, not only as far as the sports realm is concerned, you'll be hearing more sports talk, not only here in the future on Pop Culture Cosmos and the PCC Multiverse, but on our brand new show coming soon from Inside Sports. They're going to be doing a weekly podcast coming up very soon, talking about NHL, NFL, NBA, and a whole lot more. We're looking forward to being a part of it as well. I know our good friend Charles Smith is just going to be hosting the show and doing a great job, as he always does, getting the latest interviews as well. I know you guys got a ton of interviews from not only the NHL All-Star Game, but last week at the NHL Awards banquets here in Vegas. So that's some great stuff indeed that you're going to be mixing in there, plus also the latest insights from his various co-hosts and also some interviews from us as well. So that's coming up from Inside Sports. Definitely looking forward to being a part of it, and then also as well, hoping that you will give it a chance once it comes out here in the month of July. And we're back to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos Show right here on the Podcast Radio Network and all of our streaming and downloading outlets. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. I'm here along with my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanican Media. It's Josh Pederson. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. And before we go into our last topic, Josh, can you let me know your thoughts? You just got these Plantronic rigs, the Rig 600 headphones from Plantronics. Can you tell me your thoughts on the pluses, the minuses, and the overall quality of the actual headset that you're using right now?
Yeah, I like it, but and it fits to my head well, and it's the microphone picks up well. At least I think it does. I've been talking to you, I can't hear myself. But my only complaint is that I wish the earpieces were bigger, because if you have ears that are bigger than mine, like mine are already like creeping in on the edges, but if your ears were bigger than mine, these would be really uncomfortable. So it's and it's hard to wear them with glasses because you have the padding comes up so high. So it's with those minor complaints, I really like this headset. I don't have a lot to compare it to. I have these junky old ones I was using, but yeah, I dig it so far. It's comfortable. It's it's flexible. It can probably fit a bigger head than mine too. So yeah, I'm digging it so far.
Definitely, that's awesome to hear indeed about the Plantronics Rig 600 headphones. As far as more thoughts on it, stay tuned to popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. We'll provide thoughts on that, plus other Plantronic headsets as well. You can check that site out for the latest reviews on that, plus a whole lot more thoughts from Josh, opinions from Josh, also reviews from me, and opinions also from myself, and also Michelle Lavis, and also Diana Tierney as well. So take a look for that, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. So Josh, I know this is actually going to be an interesting week for the movies, and we'll talk more about it on our PCC Multiverse show, I know, by the time the week's out. But I want to ask you your thoughts, not on The House, not on Despicable Me 3, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the movie coming out directed by Edgar Wright, who was at some point in time going to be the director of the movie Ant-Man, which I think most people are familiar with, but ultimately ended up bailing out of the project for creative differences, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier. But I want to ask you your thoughts on Baby Driver, featuring Jamie Foxx, also as well John Hamm, and a whole bunch more. It looks like it's going to be a really, really fun time at the movie theaters. It's getting really, really solid reviews already. So I want to hear your thoughts. Could Baby Driver be the sleeper hit of the summer movie season?
Yes, I've been reading the reviews. They're really good. I'm gonna go see it on this Friday. But
It opens up Wednesday. Just telling everybody out there, it opens
yeah,
up Wednesday in
opens
theaters.
up
But
Wednesday.
yes,
Like like we were mentioning earlier, I think that original blockbusters are something we haven't seen in a long time, and I think Baby Driver could be it. It could quite possibly be the most important movie of the summer, as far as whether or not people are going to keep pumping money, or studios are going to bother making these original blockbusters, as opposed to just adding on to franchises. And Transformers is a perfect example of that. It's kind of not doing so hot right now
here, but it is doing it. It did its biggest opening ever in China. So that's
yeah. But eventually, people are going to have to start trying to get there. There's a market for American film goers. They just need to figure out what it is outside of superhero movies. But I think Baby Driver could be a very important film in that aspect, because we, as a society, like, we want something that's new. We want something that's relevant. I think that Baby Driver, there's a lot of love for Edgar Wright out there. A lot of fans of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End, those films. But Baby Driver is extremely important because it's not franchise based, and it's something that costs a lot of money to make, and it's got a lot of big name actors in it, but it's not related to anything, and it's a lower level director creating it. So it's exciting. This is the first time we've seen something like this in a long time.
Well, definitely very stylistic, definitely very interesting to watch already, even from the trailers are concerned. So it's definitely something that a lot of people have their eye on, and the great reviews are helping it even further kick up that buzz another notch. Seems to me a lot like what happened with Wonder Woman earlier this month, and how it's got a lot of buzz, good reviews, and that's just helped it going forward. And in a summer movie season, which, quite frankly, on the PCC Multiverse, we called one of the worst, if not worst, in quite some time, with a lot of movies that have just underperformed with audiences, either on a critical or monetary basis. This is going to be a nice, fresh change of pace, and definitely something interesting to watch as far as the concept is concerned. And it's not just going to be another lame bank robbery movie. So definitely looking forward to it indeed. Any last thoughts on Baby Driver before we head on out?
No, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to like talk a lot about what I'm expecting it to be, because that's going to set expectations, and that never works out well for me. But yeah, I'm going to go see it on Friday, so we can talk about it after that, and I'll let you know what I think of it.
Fair enough indeed. So that's going to be something to look forward to, because we think Baby Driver really has a lot of strong buzz, and it could really end up being one of the biggest surprises and biggest hits of the summer movie season. What are your thoughts on Baby Driver? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, plus also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. So for Josh Pederson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day right here in paradise, here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great. See, he's so tired he can barely do it. A great day.